She's covering her face with her paw because it's bright. It's too bright. Okay. Is it too bright?
She needs a little sleep mask. Okay, so...
We're talking about our favorite meals. In movies. Movie meals. Specifically, the food. Not just a scene that took place, like, at a dinner table, but the food in some way.
Mine is
featured.
a pretty broad spectrum.
Okay.
Of reasons I chose my meals. Okay, so let's get into that. Let's say, okay, so we... do you want to explain the Twister meal and why... So the Twister meal is why we wanted to do this.
Yeah.
That scene.
So our idea for this list originated with the meal they eat in Twister. Twister's a movie I've loved a long time. So, like, I saw that when I was a teenager.
Well, wait a second. I'm not suggesting we just get right into our list. I'm just meaning, like, I just want to say out loud before we get started that we didn't come up with rules for this. We didn't have a minimum or maximum number of movies we wanted to cite. I ended up with 5. You ended up with 6. We don't know the meals the other has chosen. Or the scenes the other has chosen. And we didn't concretely hammer out why we would be choosing the meals. I just want to make that clear because I strongly feel like we are about to present totally different lists. And I just want a little bit of a disclaimer that, like, I don't want it to seem like I intentionally broke a bunch of rules. With 2 of mine are, like, they're stretches, I would say. Okay. So
okay.
I just wanted to like say out loud that there wasn't, like, rules.
Yeah. Okay. So, but the idea came from Twister.
Yes.
So we watched Twister. Was it your first time or just your first time since you were a kid?
First time since I was a kid.
Okay. I've seen it many times, so it was a favorite of mine when I was a teenager. And sometimes in movies, there's just, like, there is a meal that just wheedles its way into your head, like, on, like, a sensory level. Like, you can almost smell it, you can taste it, and, like, hear it and feel it. You know, it's like people a lot of the time talk about food in the Miyazaki movies.
Yes.
For that reason, you know, he knows how to illustrate food and make it look like it's like a whole sensory experience. And so there are a few. So in Twister specifically, they go over to Aunt May's house, clearly something they've done many times, and she makes lunch for them, and it's chaos in the kitchen, and people are cracking eggs and making steak, but the meal is steak, eggs, mashed potatoes and gravy, and lemonade. And that's, like, all there is. I think there's some bread on the table, like, there's rolls. But it's, like, and you see them crack the egg, and you see it cooking, you can hear the, like, sizzle. They're, like, slopping it on each other's plates. Like, the main guy, the girlfriend character, the one that's just kind of along for the ride. Mm-hmm. You know, she's confused and, like, what's happening? They're just, like, shoveling food onto her plate. They, like, slap a steak down and, like, a bowl of mashed potatoes. There's, like, 50 bowls on the table that people are spooning. That entire scene, I don't think anyone says anything without their mouth being half full or, like, and they're in the middle of taking a bite. But that, I don't know, it wheedles its way into your brain. And I've always remembered it, and when we watched it, I was like, this is one of the best meals in cinema history. And and that's what like triggered the thought of like, what are some other good meals?
Yeah, you're very animated about this particular
Yeah.
meal, and it
I don't know why.
It's a great scene. That woman that you mentioned, the one who is new to the scene, she's our sometimes you need a fish out of water to let, like, as an analog for the audience. It's like, well, she's our vehicle into understanding these people's day-to-day lives, and since she's all new to her, it's new to us too.
She's learning a lot of history between
not just how the storm chasing works on a scientific level and mechanical level, but
personal history.
how these people are they're a team. They're genuinely
like
a team,
real family.
Yeah, and they have to be. They have to trust each other.
Yeah,
and that scene is so you. And a lot of the ones on my list, and a lot of the ones I was thinking, and meals in general in movies, and I'm going to qualify this, I don't think this, but I think they could fall into a category of useless scenes. They don't typically drive the story forward. There's some noteworthy examples, obviously, but for the most part, it's like a restful moment of just character building.
Yeah, that's what I love about them.
Yeah.
You learn so much about that group in that like 3 minutes of them eating together and cooking together.
You learn about the group, but you learn about the filmmaker too, because there's a lot of film to cut when you make a movie, and everything you see in a movie is something that person decided was important enough to keep in. And so if it's just them hanging out and eating, it's like, well, what does that say about what the filmmaker thought about this moment? It's like, this isn't unimportant. It's not useless. It's not wasted time. It's texture. It's that.
And I realized when I was picking my scenes and stuff, and I rewatched my scenes, how much of a purpose each one had.
Yeah.
Like, they were in my memory for like a sensory reason, but the purpose was like they all have a very clear purpose. Like, this one was character building, seeing them all relax together as a group. They're not on the road hunting a tornado together at this moment. They're chilling. Yeah. So that's what started it. And that's my first one. Twister.
Oh, yeah. These aren't in any order.
No, we're
not ranking them. Yeah.
But we'll go. Your turn.
Okay. So I need to. Do you want me to start with my most controversial one?
I don't care. Do what you want to do.
Okay, I have two controversial
ones.
I would say.
Okay.
Because of all the things we just said about Twister, I'm going to take us to the full other end of the spectrum with
eating bodies.
No, see, when I was thinking of meals, unfortunately, yes, that was a problem for me, as I kept. Like, you think, okay, the task is, what are some of your favorite meals in movies? And then you can adjust favorite to like memorable scenes, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking like you. I wasn't thinking just stuff I would want to eat.
Well, yeah.
I just meant.
Yeah.
The food was even secondary to me.
Okay.
My thought process here was, okay, what is a meal? And it's like, okay, it's the act of sharing food together, right? Like, that's the structure here.
Yeah.
That's the importance here. And so, yeah, when tasked with thinking of memorable meals, I just kept thinking Lost Boys maggots. Over and over and over. He's eating the Chinese food. He looks down. It looks like maggots. And then he freaks out. And then there's also a scene, that scene, you're in a haunted house and look, there's all this good food. We could just eat this. And then you look down and it's rotten. That happens a lot. And I kept thinking of those moments of like bad, it's not good food. So that's where I started. I couldn't get out of it. It was one of those things where it was like, I can't shake this. Lost Boys is not one of my picks.
Okay, pause. Sorry, it's a good time to pause. I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, is it a good time to pause right when I'm talking?
Yes, I'm sorry.
when I was coming up with my list, I was having trouble because I was not thinking in terms of food that is appetizing or a meal that I would want to eat or anything like that. I wasn't really even thinking about the food. I was thinking about the meal itself, the act of eating, who's there, the setting, I was thinking of meal scenes. And in the process, I thought of several scenes that I thought were good, memorable scenes, but I kept thinking, I'm just thinking of dining room table scenes. So you have Moonlight, where they're around a dining room table. It's my favorite scene in the whole movie. But they're not eating. Yeah. They're just sitting at a table. Poltergeist, with the chair stacking.
Yeah.
It's not a meal scene. It's a dining room table scene. And I just kept being like, well, wait, do I even know any meal scenes? And I was thinking Rocky Horror and
I thought that one too.
Texas Chainsaw, all of them all have a meal scene that no one's eaten.
Yeah.
Or they would be, but were it not for chaos. And I started writing these down, actually. And Hereditary,
yeah.
Where it's like, that's not a meal scene. It's a memorable scene. And they're at a dinner table. But
it didn't really even have to be at a dinner table.
Sure, exactly, yeah. And so, and another problem that kept coming up was I kept thinking of scenes like, not just specifically, but scenes like the Lost Boys scene where he looks down and there's maggots in his food. So it's like, that's memorable for a totally other reason than Twister. It's memorable because it's disgusting, it's revolting, it's like the last thing you want to see when you're eating. And that kept just like appearing in my head when I was trying to think of other movies. It was frustrating. So, and for that reason, I landed on my most controversial pick, which I'll just get it out of the way because the actual eating doesn't happen on camera. My first pick is The Fly. The eating scene in The Fly. Jeff Goldblum is halfway done becoming a fly. Mm-hmm. And he's curious about it. He's treating it like a scientist. He's not freaking out yet.
Still curious.
And one of the things he's curious about is some of the changes going on in his body. And one of the changes is that he eats like a fly now. That's how he puts it. And the scene it's twofold. First, you see Gina Davis filming him eating. She films that for him, which is its own level of, I mean, if that's not love.
How does Brundlefly eat? Well, he found out the hard and painful way that he's very much the way a fly eats. His teeth are now useless because although he can chew up solid food, he can't digest it. Solid food hurts. So, like a fly, Brundlefly breaks down solids with a corrosive enzyme.
But the real moment is you see, I don't remember the actor's name, John Getz, I think. Her colleague finds the tape and plays it. And you do see a little bit of it. It's Seth at the table explaining what he's about to do. And then it cuts away. And you just hear it. And you see his reaction to it.
Ready for a demonstration, kids? Here goes.
Oh, my God. My God.
And we talked about this when we were watching Cronenberg movies. Even though he's got a reputation for being disgusting, body horror, revolting stuff, just nasty stuff. A lot of his movies deal with some really gross themes. We both came away thinking that he is sort of a master of restraint.
Yes.
And that he could have shown it. They show a lot in that movie. And I don't think it would have been a rating thing or anything like that. It was choice, purely, he understood that whatever we were thinking was going on that tape is so much worse than anything they could have filmed, and it hits. Because in a movie where you've seen so much already,
Yeah.
the fact that they wouldn't show it to you adds this level of impact.
Yeah.
And you
Barbarian does that too.
Yes. Oh man, yeah. The not showing you in Barbarian is merciful.
Just
to
showing
put it
you
lightly.
names on tapes. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it when they utilize that. Your imagination is so much worse than what.
Yeah. And obviously it's not a happy meal or anything like that. It's
No,
not a good thing, but it's one of the most memorable scenes in the whole movie for me. In a movie filled with memorable scenes. And it's just that it's his slow, disgusted horror. His face just, that's all you get, is you got to just infer what this guy is watching.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, and yeah, so I said controversial because it's like I picked a meal that doesn't even happen on camera.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little bit outside the spirit of this
No, it's
discussion,
fine.
but I promise I have
I'll allow
some
it.
more traditional meals on my list too.
I'll allow it.
So yeah, that's my first pick, is The Fly.
Not while we're eating.
Can't be worse than this.
Okay. Well, my next one is kind of untraditional too,
Okay.
in a way. It's broader. Well, it's Marie Antoinette. Specifically, okay, so all the food in that is crazy. Specifically, though, it's the I Want Candy scene, where it's a montage scene that is her and her little gang of girlfriends shopping, like looking at fashion and shoes, gambling, so with champagne and like poker chips in hand, and eating sweets. So eating baked goods.
Yeah.
And it's this montage cut of all these things. And it's so chaotic. They all kind of merge together. They all have the exact same quality. They all have the same color scheme. They're all the same pastel. So the shoes look as edible as the desserts do. The poker chips are like these round mother of pearl. They look like candy. And then you see close-up shots of them like taking bites out of these massive desserts and stuff. Just a scene kind of illustrating all to the tune of I Want Candy by Bow Wow Wow.
Sure.
And all just kind of as a way of showing their like overconsumption. Like this is what they're doing with their time. She's shopping, she's gambling, and she's eating sweets. And, she's like 18. So, and that's all she's doing. But all the food in that, there are some great meal scenes. Like, I like one of the first breakfasts when she sits down with her new husband and she doesn't even know him yet.
So, I've heard you make keys as a hobby?
Yes.
And you enjoy making keys?
Obviously.
And they're sitting at the breakfast table. It's just the two of them with this crazy spread of food. It's like art pieces that are food.
Yeah.
And there's like 20 people behind them who are serving them in various capacities. Like someone's bringing a plate that has a glass of water on it and all this stuff. But none of them are eating. It's just the two of them at this breakfast table with an insane amount of food. And she's not even eating because she's too nervous, and he's like picking at stuff. So the food is very central in Marie Antoinette in a lot of ways. And another favorite of mine from when I was a teenager. I saw that in theaters when it came out and I was 15. And everything about that, the music and the visuals just sunk their teeth into me.
Food as a status symbol is an interesting tool. It's an interesting angle. It's one of the things I actually I have a list of runner-ups, ones that I didn't feel like were worth necessarily being on my list, but that I liked, and one of them was Snowpiercer, and it's the scene where he sits down to eat sushi, but he makes Tilda Swinton eat the protein bar. It's perfect because it's like food is this grand unifier. We all need this,
Mhm.
you know? It doesn't matter how much money you have. You need to eat. And the food that the upper classes eat in Snowpiercer is this decadent sushi. It's all fancy. It's like what you're describing. It's
Yeah.
opulent.
It just looks like art. It looks like an
Yeah.
inedible art is what they're served every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. And then on the other end of the train, the low classes are being fed ground up
blocks of cockroach
bugs.
jelly.
Yeah. And in that moment, him forcing her to eat her literal just desserts.
Dig in.
Yeah.
That is her sentence
Yeah.
for her crimes. And it's really
Feels
it's
good.
a great moment. Again, that's just it just felt like that added
Yeah,
tears.
no, yeah,
It's
it
like,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, food as status symbol. It is, and that's very much, and it's like, Marie Antoinette, one of her biggest claims to fame and culture in history is let them eat cake. Whether
Yeah.
or not she said it,
Yeah.
there's debate about that. Who cares? It's associated with her strongly. So yeah, food, like I think it was very smart to put so much focus on
Yeah.
how beautiful and unattainable the food that they were eating on a daily basis was.
Let them eat cake.
That's such nonsense. I would never say that.
My next pick, technically 2 scenes, but from one movie.
Yeah.
Goodfellas.
I know I'd go from rags to riches.
Mhm.
I love the scene where they have just killed, or not fully yet, but they have Billy Bats in the trunk, and they're taking him to go bury him somewhere. And they stop at Tommy's mom's house. And Tommy's mom is played quite famously by Martin Scorsese's real mom. And the story is, I don't know how true this is, but the idea is that they just told her to act motherly. And I can believe it, because while I am not Italian, I do have family on the East Coast. I know what it is like to walk into my grandma's house in New Jersey. That is what it's like.
I don't want to wake her up. Oh, hey.
Yeah, look who's here. Look who's here.
Hey, Mom, what's going on?
What are you doing? What happened?
No, nothing.
What happened
I
to
hit
you?
something on the road. Give me a thing.
What happened to you? What happened?
How are you, sweetheart? How are you?
I haven't seen you so long. What happened for you? I hate to see him that way. And you too. How are you? What happened?
She is just a perfect character. She is a one-off. She just shows up for the one scene, and then she's out of the movie. She has no idea there's a body in the trunk. She has no idea. Tommy tells her that they hit a deer. That's why he had blood on his suit. Doesn't ask questions. Probably at this point knows it's better to not ask questions in a family like that, with a son like that. And she's in the middle of the night. She was asleep, and they're telling her, they're pleading with her, like, just go back to bed. It's fine. Don't worry. Don't fuss. Don't make a fuss. And she tells him, she says, I can't go to sleep with Tommy here. I never see him. I want to see him. And it's the beautiful cut, just cut to them eating.
Well, he came in, you came in. I figured,
You know what time it is?
I'm so
In the
happy
morning.
to see him. Look, go inside, make yourselves comfortable. I'll make
Go
you
to sleep.
something to
Go to
eat.
sleep. Go to sleep. We're gonna leave.
No, I
Just get me
can't sleep.
something.
Not
We're
while
gonna
he's
change. We're
home.
gonna
No,
go
I
out.
haven't seen him so long. I want to see him. Then you go inside.
This stuff is great, but it's like lead.
So tell me, where you been? I haven't seen you. I haven't even...
She served him food, because of course she did. And for them, the food is a connection to something deeper for them. It's tradition. It's a movie where Jimmy and Henry, whatever, Hank Hill, is that that's what we're going to call Ray Liotta in Goodfellas, is Hank Hill? Is Hank short for Henry? Why did I say that?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
I never
That
thought
movie
about
went
that.
in one ear and out the other.
Anyway, Henry and Jimmy are specifically not Italian enough. Henry is half Sicilian. He's half Sicilian, half Irish, and I can't remember where Jimmy's from, but it's a specific plot point in the movie that they can't be as made as the Italian guys, because it's this tight knit. It's a family to them. It's a literal family. It's specific traditional ties to their home, Yeah. And the way they do this, the way they show this, is through food, through the preparation of food. And you get this great other scene in jail. It's Paul Sorvino's character, Paulie, is cutting garlic with a razor blade. Mm-hmm. They don't have access to kitchen tools. They have access to a lot because they're made guys, and in the pen that means something different. They don't have to be with the Gen Pop, But he's cutting the garlic with the razor blade, and the voiceover is saying that like he could cut the garlic so thin that it would just melt in the pan. He has like a in prison technique. He says he's specifically serving a year for contempt. It's just, this is a cycle for him. Sometimes he's in jail, sometimes he's not, and when he's in, this is how they prepare food. And he's smuggling food past the guards to so that they can cook with it. But it's every guy in jail has their own little job in the kitchen. But it's important to them to keep up the tradition. They're not going to eat slop. They're not going to eat cafeteria food. Are you kidding me? These are made guys. It doesn't matter that they're behind bars. They just happen to be. They're temporarily embarrassed made men. The scene with Tommy's mom, though, is just so great. I do
remember that scene.
It's joyful in a way, with this bizarre, because Henry's like, he looks worried. This is the first. You can tell this is the first time he's had a body in the trunk, and you can tell it's not the first time for Joe Pesci or Robert De Niro. You can tell that they're used to this, and they're cracking jokes. Even she shows him that she paints. She goes, "Did Tommy ever tell you that I've been painting?" And she like holds up this painting of a guy on a boat with some dogs. And Joe Pesci, world's greatest art critic, says,
I like this one. One dog goes one way and the other dog goes the other way.
One is going east and the other one is going west. So what?
And this guy's saying, what do you want from me?
And Robert De Niro points out that it looks a little like Billy Bats with the white hair. He said, it looks like a friend of ours, doesn't it? And Joe Pesci starts cracking up, and Henry shoots Robert De Niro a look. Ray Liotta looks at Robert De Niro like, and they're just laughing because it's nothing to them. And it's like, it's Henry's moment of one of many moments of realizations of like, oh, this is what I signed up for. And he asks his mom for the knife. He's like, I'm going to borrow this. I'll bring it back, though. He takes it from his mom. I don't know. I love that scene. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like Twister. It's this moment of character development. It's a moment of rest in an otherwise very chaotic and violent moment in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's important. You couldn't cut it. I mean, it's famous now. I mean, it's like a big deal, that scene. And it's, again, if you can take them, I guess I'm just impressed by the ability of a filmmaker to make something as seemingly mundane as eating dinner together memorable, when in the same movie, we're talking about 2.5 hours of gangster violence.
My next one is probably one that a lot of people think of if they were asked. Oh. Okay. Is one that a lot of people would think of if asked like their favorite meal scene in a movie, I think. It's iconic. It's Hook.
Okay.
You've seen Hook,
The
right?
Imagined.
Yeah. Yeah. So
long time ago.
So I rewatched that scene because it has been a while since I've seen Hook. It's funny. I think all the movies I picked were from either my childhood or teenagehood. It's like they just, I don't know. It's something about it. But in Hook, you know, the whole concept of Hook is that Robin Williams is Peter Pan, but he left Neverland, grew up, and now he's back in Neverland and doesn't remember being Peter Pan. And they're all like, you're some of them believe it, some of them don't believe it, but they're all like, are you ever? No one's sure if he's really Peter. And you know, a lot of this is about belief. Does he believe? You know, like, what do you believe? And that's a lot of that's in the like foundation of Peter Pan as a story. Like, you know, if you say I don't believe in fairies, a fairy dies.
Yeah.
That's the, like, you know, they revived Tinkerbell and Peter Pan by saying, I do believe in fairies. I do. That's how you revive a fairy. And so belief is this like cornerstone of Peter Pan and imagination and all that kind of stuff. And so when they sit down to dinner, you know, Rufio has taken over the head of the Lost Boys, and Robin Williams as Peter Pan, well, as Peter, he's just Peter. He's starving, and you know, they're all excited to eat dinner, and they open up all the pots and pans and there's nothing there. And Peter is visibly upset about it. And he's just kind of like watching them, and all the kids are like pantomime eating.
Yeah.
You know, they're and stuff. They're like they're eating. And then Rufio and Peter get in a sparring match of like yelling, calling each other names. And Peter start off very unimaginative, and as it escalates, his get like crazy and imaginative and wild, and he pretends to flick food from a spoon at Rufio, and imagining that triggers it, and then all the food becomes visible.
Suck on a dead dog's nose.
You're doing it.
Doing what?
Using your imagination, Peter.
Because and then everyone, like all the Lost Boys, look at him and they're like, "You're doing it. You're doing it." And the food is perfect. You know, it looks delicious. You know, you have like turkey legs that are steaming, and then those pies, though, are what are so memorable. It's just like multicolored whipped cream is basically all it is. But every kid like know that, because it escalates into a food fight, you know, and then they're all throwing this multicolored whipped cream at each other, and it's just such a memorable scene, and it's such a pivotal scene, you know, because it's the first time since he's been back in Neverland that he uses his imagination, and successfully. And so it's like, it gives you hope that he might be able to remember who he is and what he can do.
It's funny, you reminded me of one that I don't have on my list. But you saying that all yours are ones that imprinted on you at a young age sort of made me realize, and then you talking about this made me remember the scene in All Dogs Go to Heaven, where they're singing a song about sharing. Charlie's got a pizza for the puppies, and they're pulling at the pizza, and the song is about like, make sure your brother and sister have enough before you take some for yourself. But the pizza is like,
animated pizza's great.
So cheesy and
the Goofy
stretchy,
movie also has great pizza.
Yeah.
Iconic pizza. I don't know if everyone has this experience in childhood, but there's something like, if I have a lot of the books that I had as a child, so like my actual copies of books that I had when I was a kid, and when I go back and look at them, the illustrations have a different quality to them than illustrations I see newly, like as an adult. And it's this weird, like, intense sensory experience of like remembering, like I remember there's a whole series of books, and all the kids have circles on their knees. It's just their knees are drawn with just like a little circle on their leg. And that like did something to me. I don't know. It's like something about So things that I saw as a kid in like often, because I read my books over and over, I watched my movies over and over. They really, really sunk into my head in a weird way. And so it's like food specifically in movies has that quality. I mean, movies from when I was a kid sunk into my head for a lot of reasons, but specifically meals. I guess that's probably why they're all from that era of my life. Baby, I'm holding up your butt. I'm literally holding her butt up. Okay.
I mean, it's just like a complete 180 here again. Sorry to be so contrary to your list. Your list is so wholesome. My next pick was Oldboy. So in Oldboy, the main character is imprisoned for many, many, many years. And without getting too into, I don't want to explain the plot of every single one of these, but it is crucial that you understand that he has been held captive, not in jail or anything, like just in a room. He doesn't know who did it. He never saw his captors. And then he's released again without seeing them. And one of the first things he does is go to a little bar, and he asks for something living. Now, I forgot what it's called, but I did look this up. In Korea, there is a dish where what they do is they take an octopus, chop it up, put it on a plate, and give it to you, and it'll still be writhing around. He asks for something living, and the woman comes back with an octopus and asks, do you want me to chop this up for you? Do you want me to prepare this for you? And he says no, and takes the octopus, bites into its head, tears its legs off, and just forces this thing into his mouth and eats it. The tentacles are still writhing. They're slapping his face. They're holding on for dear life. Now, this is not CG. It's not an effect. He really did that. In the behind the scenes, you find out he did that 4 times. That's how many shots it took. And you also find out he is a Buddhist vegetarian.
Oh my god.
And there's a shot in the behind the scenes of him saying a little prayer every time he had to do it. It's an intense scene. It is shocking. It is brutal. But again, talking about like narrative importance,
sets the tone.
He has become a killer.
Yeah.
He has become vicious. He is singularly minded now in his pursuit of revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And what better way to show it than I will not even wait for you to prepare this food for me. I'm going to take this creature and consume it still living. Like what an affirmation that he's still alive.
Yeah.
What an affirmation that he is still holding on to it all, and it also reflects how little humanity he has left, right? Like he doesn't blink, I mean, he doesn't bat an eye at this. He doesn't react because he's just numb at this point. But he still has that spark in him. Now, while looking this up and rewatching the scene and like looking for behind the scenes stuff and information about it, I noticed there is a discussion online, as there probably should be, about whether or not that was okay to do.
Yeah.
It's killing an animal for a movie, and
octopi are very smart.
They're very smart.
They're not just a fish.
But even never minding that. I mean, like there's movies where they have cockroaches where they're being
Mhm.
careful not to crush the cockroaches. You know, I mean, we have
Yeah.
rules in place for this, and this movie's from 2003. It doesn't have the benefit of, you know, hey,
Yeah.
we hadn't come up with those rules yet or whatever. There's plenty of old movies. You watch certain time period, you're watching an Italian movie
Yeah.
and an animal shows up, maybe brace yourself.
Yeah.
Some Chinese films, there's some where it's like, yeah, they're a little, yeah. Anyway, we don't have to get into that whole discussion. I don't know, and I don't know where I land on it, because it's interesting to me that a movie like Cannibal Holocaust has so much discussion surrounding the ethics of how the film was made, and it's so much older than Oldboy. And with Oldboy, like I said, people are having the conversation. You can find it online, but it's not like the thing that's talked about with Oldboy. Oldboy is as far as I know, respected, well-liked piece of cinema that people treat with high regard. And I think rightfully, I like Oldboy. You know, I thought it was good. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like I just want to acknowledge that this is a very controversial scene to many people. I don't necessarily know where I fall on it. I don't like seeing animals harmed. I'm a huge animal lover. I think it's like Roar. You know, I said the same thing about Roar, which is they probably shouldn't have done this. Yeah. But I'm glad they did. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah. I actually haven't for you know, we have a channel about remakes and sequels, so maybe this is a little bit shameful to admit, but I have not seen the Oldboy remake.
Me neither.
It's
not supposed to be very good.
I haven't heard great things about it, but what I specifically have not heard is that I assume Josh Brolin does not do that. I don't know, but if there's footage of that, I'll put it here.
So again, 180. Swinging back the other way.
Okay.
Mine is The Breakfast Club.
Okay. Yeah.
You've seen The Breakfast Club?
Again.
When you were young.
Ancient history. I barely remember it.
Well, when I was in 9th grade, I was obsessed with The Breakfast Club. I watched it on a loop for like a year. I was obsessed. And so there's a scene in The Breakfast Club. It's lunchtime, right? So this is a good character development meal. So, you know, you've got all of these characters who pull out their lunches, and they're all just incredibly different lunches that are so incredibly specific to them. So, Molly Ringwald pulls out sushi. Even with the, like, she has her soy sauce in a little glass, like, thing, and, like, she uses the little wooden plate that has, like, the legs on it and everything. And Bender's behind her. He's like, "What's that?" And, you know, and she's like, "It's sushi." And there's like, what is that? She's like, "It's raw fish, rice, and seaweed." And everyone just kind of goes. And then, I don't remember all the characters' names. 14-year-old me would be very sad. But Emilio Estevez, the athlete character, pulls out a full-size brown grocery bag. Pulls out a full-size bag of chips, like a family-size bag of chips, 3 sandwiches, a banana, an apple, a bag of powdered donuts. I think that's it. He's an athlete, so he's eating a lot of food. And it's like each one gets their moment. So you see her unpack her sushi, and you get through that moment, and then it moves to him, and everyone's watching him pull out food after food, like it's Mary Poppins' bag. And they're all just like watching him do it. And then it's Ali Sheedy's character, the weird one in the back, my favorite character when I was young. And she has a bologna sandwich. She takes the bologna off and flings it behind her. It lands on a statue behind her. And so now all she has is white bread and mayonnaise, and she pours 3 different pixie sticks onto the bread, and then handfuls of Captain Crunch, puts the bread back on, smushes it, and then takes a big bite. And everyone, you get a shot of everyone's looking at her, and they're all just like, and she eats that. And then Bender sits down with the geek, Anthony Michael Hall's character, and he's like, what do you have for lunch? And it's just like a normal lunch. It's soup in a juice box, and Bender teases him about it and stuff. And it's a good, the whole movie is about how these characters are so different, but also so similar.
Yeah.
That they all feel similarly different and ostracized and broken or wrong in the exact same way, but they're all so different. And I think that scene really emphasizes that. I like that scene.
You won't accept a guy's tongue in your mouth and you're gonna eat that?
Can I eat?
I feel like yours are all so much more meaningful than mine.
Well, that's the perfect it's the perfect time to throw my not meaningful one in here. Okay. I guess I have 6. I miscounted. Do I have 7? I have 6. I thought I had 5. Step Brothers. It's sort of weird to throw a comedy in here, I guess, an outright comedy like that. I guess Breakfast Club's a kind of outright comedy. Yeah. Step Brothers is very silly. It's a very goofy movie. It is probably alongside Anchorman. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of great movies, but there was an era. If you were paying attention to movies in this time period, there was a moment where Will Ferrell was in. They just kept trying to make Anchorman again. Yeah. And with varying degrees of success. Step Brothers is adjacent to that. It's an Adam McKay movie. So there's like 2 lanes that Will Ferrell has. He's got his Anchorman mode, and then he's got his Adam McKay mode. And that's the mode I prefer. I like the other guys. I like Step Brothers. Yeah. Step Brothers specifically, though, there's not one necessarily meal scene. It's all of the meal scenes in Step Brothers.
Brennan.
We've talked about child acting a bunch of times. And how you mentioned when we watched Asteroid City that Wes Anderson really knows how to get a good child performance out of a kid. Like Wes Anderson kids feel like kids.
Well, yeah, they feel so often in movies kids don't feel like kids. It's like that was an adult writing a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In Step Brothers, I would make a case that John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell are putting on more than just a goofy, silly guy performance. I think they are very masterfully playing preteens.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're not in the movie. They're meant to be adults. But they are acting so well like how kids act. And there's just these little nuances in the eating and how they eat, how they interact with the food around them, how they interact with the people at the table. They don't like each other. They don't want to be in each other's lives. It's weird. The parents are just getting used to this scenario and trying to put out fires as they arise. It's tense. It's a weird little family dynamic that you have to sort of. It's a very real moment, for such a silly movie. They put a lot of thought into the reality of okay, well, what does this dynamic look like if they aren't 40-year-old guys? I can't remember though. Is it Richard Jenkins and...
Is it Mary Steenburgen?
Yes. They deserve props as well. I talk about this in comedy a lot, where you can have the silliest guy ever making tons of fun silliness, making zany gags and doing physical comedy. And if you don't have someone who can stand in that scene, carry the scene with that actor and not draw attention away from them, you don't have a scene. You need the straight man. You need the pillar of, like, the parents have to see this situation as real and serious, or it doesn't work. Everyone in this scene has to pretend like everything's normal. It's not 2 40-year-old guys. They can't mention that.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
That's so funny. The last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur.
Stop. All right now. All right? Let's just back off. All right. Brennan, it's okay. It's okay. Great,
He
Dale.
said a mean thing first.
All right. Okay. Just look. You know what?
All these little details, but the thing I love about it is something that my actual stepbrother used to do, which gives it just an extra slice of realism for me. Is he used to mix up ketchup and mayonnaise together in a separate bowl, refer to it as special sauce, and then put that on his food.
Dale, I don't know if you might want to try this. I make a sauce, we call it fancy sauce,
For me.
that Brennan really likes with his chicken nuggets.
It's my fancy sauce.
Well, when Brennan finishes, I'll give you some of this, and it's ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together. So.
So good.
And that's what they do in this movie. And there's this whole, it's a whole production. He's got to make his sauce. Is it okay if your stepbrother tries it? It's like, no, this is like, there's like ownership. They're fighting for, teenagers have this thing where it's like, you have this energy of like, I need to have my space. Yeah. I need something that's mine.
Proprietaryism.
Yeah. And it can become bands you like that's my band. Yeah. Or a movie you like, that's my movie. Yeah. This is something that I need to have some. You're finding out who you are. This. Yeah. They're developing an identity. And there's a lot of that happening where you have John C. Reilly trying to sort of like feel out the energy, like, am I going to be an alpha in this scenario? You know, he approaches the scenario like in movies when they talk about like showing up to prison on day one. He's showing up to this family like, I got to make an impression.
Good night, Nancy. Hey, listen, I like to have a lot of fresh fruit around and chocolate chips in my pancakes. Okay, write it down so you don't forget.
Show them the room.
Like I said, the movie has got to pretend like everything is realistic and normal, or the joke doesn't work. And in those moments, I think the meals help solidify the joke really well. And obviously our opportunities for more humor, more joke telling. But it's just, yeah, it's mundane. It's just people sitting down and eating, dealing with a relatively minor family drama, but it's not minor to them. I don't know. I really I appreciate the inclusion of the secret sauce.
Someone got some air. Snap!
I still hate you.
Still hate you. Such power. It's raw power.
Dad, what are you doing? It's Shark Week.
My next one's kind of a massive spoiler.
Oh, interesting.
So if you don't want spoilers for Phantom Thread, then skip ahead.
I'll say skip to here.
Okay.
Here. I'll point somewhere.
Okay.
Skip to this time code, and we will be done talking about Phantom Thread, and I'll figure that out later. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I'll worry about it later.
So, Phantom Thread, Paul Thomas Anderson, has a few good moments of food. Like, I like at the beginning when the two first meet, and she's a waitress, and he's like at a little seaside restaurant, and he orders like an enormous amount of food, and just like the way they're teasing each other and talking about like, and she's like, oh, do you want this too? And he's like, yeah, I want that too. And like, he's like, and probably some of this. And she's like, yeah, that's good.
And now? Will you have dinner with me? Yes.
And it's like a flirtation. But the my favorite, massive spoiler. So the whole movie, this romance between the two main characters, it's sort of a power imbalance, right? Where he's this like pseudo Christian Dior, like high level fashion house powerhouse. You know, he's well known, he's well respected, he's an artiste. He's one of those people that, you know, he can demand anything of anyone and they'll give it to him. And he's in this relationship with this woman, this much younger woman, in a much, you know, and she doesn't have that power, you know. He changes her life, but she needs power in the relationship, some kind of power to make it work. And they have this power. The entire movie is a power struggle between the two of them, back and forth and back and forth. And she realizes that she can win back power in their relationship by making him sick and taking care of him. And this happens, I think, once. Just he gets sick and she takes care of him. And then it was so important, that moment of her getting to take care of him for once, that she recreates it by finding mushrooms that will make him sick and making him sick. And he realizes that's what she's doing. And it's all kind of through glances and like understanding. Like he just grows in understanding of this need that she has. And there's a moment towards the end, when she's cooking these omelets with these mushrooms, and we watch her make the whole omelet, and he's sitting at the table watching her make the omelet. And she sets it down in front of him, and he knows the mushrooms will make him sick. Very sick, violently sick.
Yeah.
Again. And he eats it. Like, it's just this fucked up power dynamic at play. It's like she has to take back power somehow. And that's how she does it. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, that I was thinking about that with Goodfellas too. Just the idea of like food offered as an expression of love. It's just a way to show love. And that movie takes it, obviously, a pretty extreme step further.
And almost, it's like this idea of food as vulnerability, almost, is what, because there's another scene in Phantom Thread, where she cooks for him. She wants to have a date. It's like in the middle of the movie when she's trying to figure out a way to take power back, or to like get his attention even. And she like sends the cook home, and she's like, I'm going to cook for him tonight. And she makes this whole spread, and she makes asparagus, and he doesn't like the way he's thrown off because it's a surprise, and he likes things the way that they are.
Particular. As I think you know, Alma, I prefer my asparagus with oil and salt. And knowing this, you have prepared the asparagus with butter. Now, I can imagine in certain circumstances being able to pretend that I like it made this way. Right now, I'm just admiring my own gallantry for eating it the way you've prepared it.
There's also an interesting like vulnerability element to food, because you are at the mercy of who's making you food.
Yeah.
And in many ways, you know, you don't usually think about that because the person that's making you food is usually, at least in personal life, is a loved one. You know, it's your spouse, your parents, your brother, your sister, you know, it's someone close to you, and you
Yeah.
don't think about it, but there is a vulnerability in food. People
Yeah.
have power when they give you food.
An implied level of trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this other movie was an honorable mention of mine. A display of power in food, with food, is Killing of a Sacred Deer. The spaghetti.
Yeah.
So there's a scene when Nicole Kidman goes to Barry Keoghan and she's like, "Why are you doing this to my family? Why punish us for what my husband did?"
Yeah.
And Barry Keoghan is sitting there, like in an armchair like this, with a plate of spaghetti in his lap, eating it, like voraciously eating it, and it's like it's all over his mouth, having this like life or death situation about how her husband. Okay, major spoilers for
Sure, yeah.
how her husband killed his father, and that this is the only way he can, and he's so matter of fact in it. This is the only way he can think of to make it right. And he uses the spaghetti as an illustration of the importance his father had to him. He tells a little like story about how someone told him when he was a child that he ate spaghetti just like his father did, and it meant so much to him until he grew up and realized that everyone eats spaghetti the same way, by like twisting it and then putting it in your mouth. It's not unique. Everyone does that. And how he says that finding that out when he was an adult was more devastating to him than hearing his dad actually died, because like the connection between them dissolved in that moment.
Yeah.
And so it's like this emotional and like heightened and intense and crazy scene, and you got this weird kid hunched over a plate of spaghetti covered in spaghetti sauce like he's a 12-year-old.
I don't know if what is happening is fair, but it's the only thing I can think of as close to justice. Time's getting on, and if I'm late for class, I'm done for. Have a good day.
So food is a good, like, sort of absurd, an absurdist power play right there. But also, like, a very immature one. But then also a meaningful one. Because, yeah, so it's got a lot of layers.
The movie's got a lot of layers.
Yeah, it does.
That's a fun one, though. Well, not fun.
No, but it's
but fun.
An interesting one. Yeah.
I got a couple nice ones to round out my list.
Okay.
No more nasty ones. No more trips to hell. Another one on my list is Perfect Days. The movie Perfect Days.
Okay.
I don't want to highlight any one meal, but that's sort of the idea.
That's the idea.
So Perfect Days is the longest toilet commercial you'll ever see in your life. It is. So Japan, I think for the Olympics they were commissioned, has these nice public outdoor toilets. I think they're called the Tokyo toilet. I think that's what it's called. And Wim Wenders, I think you pronounce it. Wim Wenders, I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Was tasked with coming up with some, I think they envisioned it as either a series of commercials or a commercial, but he asked if he could take the project and turn it into a feature-length film. And the idea was to showcase these public toilets.
Yeah, they're like art installations. They're not
they're
just
nice.
like a concrete block. They have some unusual kind of art.
Yeah, they're unique. They're each unique, and and they wanted to just highlight that they were there and show them off. Basically, it's a public works thing, and so he made a movie about a guy whose job it is to clean those toilets. That's his job. But what the movie really is about is I would say, I mean, it's a methodical and very patient exploration of the beauty in the mundane, the beauty in simplicity. The character lives in a way that you may refer to as like Zen-like. He seems to have seems to have found some form of inner peace.
Yeah.
And this
in a simple routine life.
That's what I want to get to. Yeah. In the routine. Yes. He has found inner peace in the monotony of what he's got to do every day. He goes to eat at the same places. He goes to work. He cleans the toilets. He listens to music, specifically on cassette tapes. He goes to the same bathhouse, sees the same people, and takes his lunch from a little bag. He sits in a park, sits on this little beautiful walkway, and looks up at the sky through the trees, and sometimes takes a picture with his camera. And the routine becomes ritual. It's more than a routine. There are shots of him cleaning the toilets, and the diligence that he puts into his work as a cleaner is exactly reflected in all of the processes he does throughout his day. He is as diligent and as methodical with everything he does. He puts respect and care and attention into how he interacts with the world. And there's a shot of him cleaning the bathroom, and then there's shots of him visiting a temple. And it's like this, it's meant to be this sort of juxtaposition of like, well, they're not suggesting anything as offensive or crass as, toilets are exactly the same thing as temples, but they become to him a temple. Him sitting at his spot on the walkway where he eats lunch every day, that's a temple to him. Mm-hmm. He is surrounded by the natural beauty, and not always natural. I don't even want to say it's this. It is very much and crucially not a condemnation of modern life.
No,
it actually shows how modern life fits into his seemingly, I don't know what you'd call it, old-timey existence. Because like you said, I said he listens to cassette tapes. That's of another era, but it's not as simple as that. There's a moment where he and his niece are eating together, and he takes a picture with his camera. She takes a picture with her phone, and it's like this moment of like they're doing the same thing. And he acknowledges that. There's all the shots are like you don't have any voiceover. He's not explaining this stuff to you. It's just quiet moments from this guy's life. And so with that in mind, it seems sacrilegious to choose one of the lunches he's had because it's the concept of lunch that they're showing you.
Yeah.
It's not like Groundhog Day, it's not, oh, he's just living the same day over and over. But there is a repetitive rhythm throughout the movie where it's like, okay, it's lunchtime again.
Well, it's like a commercial for mindfulness.
Basically,
he's in the present moment. He's cherishing all the small moments, the small moments of connection he has with other people. Like, for some reason, I remember the one where he's cleaning one of the toilets, and it's the one with the colored glass that whenever the door is open, you can see through the glass, but when the door is closed, it goes opaque and colorful. And a woman speaking English, an American woman, couldn't figure out how to operate the door.
Yeah.
And he doesn't speak English, and she doesn't speak Japanese, and but he kind of illustrates, he like shows her how to close the door for her, and it's just like all those sweet little simple moments of connection. And I remember he also goes to the same dinner place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the connections he has with other people, but also the distance from other people. He also seems to live, it's like he lives outside of their society.
He's an observer.
Or maybe he sees that, or he thinks that about himself, or maybe feels that about himself. Mm-hmm. And there are moments of like, he has a moment with his sister where he sees her and she leaves and he cries. And it's almost this moment of like, it's like he wishes he could have said something. There was something was left unsaid for him, and he couldn't bring himself to do it. He's not portrayed as this
Saint.
enlightened person. He's got his own struggles, and I don't know, just the visual of him sitting down at that walkway and like looking up into the trees and just quietly taking in the world around him while he eats lunch, and this little pause in his rituals. It's a ritual itself. It's really nice. The whole movie is very nice. Sweet.
Yeah. So I have one more. You have one more? Okay. So my last one is the one that I thought of right after Twister. And it's from when I was a kid. So it's my favorite childhood movie, and it still is, and it still holds up, and it's still good. It's A Little Princess by Alfonso Cuarón. So that's a movie that's so much better than it has any right to be. Notably, visually so. Like, it is visually better than it has any right to be, or it even needed to be. And I feel like that movie strongly informed my aesthetic preferences as an adult, even. This is one you haven't seen.
Yeah,
so I'm
I
gonna
haven't
try
seen this
to
one.
and one that I desperately want you to see. But it's a scene, so well, I'll say this. So the main character and her best friend it's in a boarding school, and they're sent to bed without dinner, and I think without the prospect of breakfast in the morning.
Okay.
They're being punished. They wake up in the morning, and they live in this dingy attic. There's nothing up there. It's just like a sunken bed and like dust. And they wake up that morning, and the room is transformed entirely. It's clothed in swaths of like orange and gold fabric. There's flowers. It's beautiful, and notably there's a table that is covered in food that's still steaming. It's like it's still smoking and still steaming, and it's just this really magical moment. The visuals and the music in this movie really work together to create a very, very unique kind of magic. This movie is largely about the power of imagination, which is obviously a favorite topic of mine, especially as a kid. I won't tell you how it got there or anything else around, but that meal, there's like these luxurious robes on the bed that are left for them to put on, and these beautiful silk slippers, and they sit down, and it's exactly what they ordered. So everything they said that night about what they wanted to eat is there, like the sausages, and she takes off the plate and it's just steaming hot sausages, and they sit down giggling and laughing and eating breakfast, and it's just a really magical moment. And yeah, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. There's a lot of food in that movie. There's a lot of steaming baked goods that left an impact. We gotta watch that soon. We gotta watch it soon. It's on my mind.
Yeah, what will happen is I'll watch it before editing this because I don't want to.
Do you want to watch it tonight?
Maybe, yeah, sure.
I'm a little scared about all of this. Me too. You think we shouldn't eat it? I'm not that scared.
So your picks, I like that you seem to have maintained a personal connection to all of these meals. It's less about no, I mean that's fine. We just approached this differently. It's interesting. I was excited about that, and if we do another list or favorite ideas from movies video, I think we should maintain we shouldn't tell the other one what we're
discuss it.
It's interesting that we didn't have any overlap.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we would. We watch a lot of the same movies, but
well, what's your last one?
My last one is Pig. 2021's Pig, starring Nicolas Cage, Alex Wolff. Pig is... This is okay, so this is going to be another one where to talk about this meal, I need to spoil the whole movie.
Yeah.
So with Pig, there have been so many video essays about Pig and about this specific detail of it, but it is worth mentioning what Pig is structurally. Structurally speaking, Pig occupies the same space as like John Wick.
Yeah.
It is a revenge tale. It is a solitary person with an animal that they love. The animal is taken from them and they go on a quest of seeming revenge. But where Pig differentiates from John Wick and other revenge plot lines is that it is not an action movie. It hardly shares any of the aesthetic of what you'd expect from a typical revenge movie. It is a deconstruction of the idea. It's a meditation on those sorts of feelings, you know, like it's not about revenge for him. It's not, he just wants his pig back. And secondary to that, the primary plot of Pig is the pig gets taken, Nicolas Cage is going to look for the pig, but that's not the movie. The movie's about grief and how these characters choose to face grief or how they choose not to, or in the ways they resist facing grief.
Mm-hmm.
Robin, Nicolas Cage's character, is a former chef, a renowned chef, very good, like Michelin star kind of chef in Oregon, Portland. And he's not anymore. He lives in a shack in the woods with his truffle hunting pig. And while looking for her, he has to go back into Portland to his old connections, the people he knows from the restaurant industry, the people he's worked with, the people he's met. And at some point he meets up with Alex Wolff, who is his Alex Wolff uses him. He buys truffles from Nicolas Cage. That's how he makes a living. He finds truffles in the woods, sells them to this young enterprising restaurateur who is trying to make a name for himself in the restaurant industry. And so basically Nicolas Cage is just Alex Wolff's truffle guy. And Alex Wolff's dad in the movie is also a big player in this industry. And he is an overbearing, menacing figure in Alex Wolff's life. He's not shown through the whole movie, basically. You see him at the end. You finally see this guy that Alex Wolff has been terrified of for what you can tell is his whole life. And what's happening is you slowly get like drips of what's happening in the background here. And what's happening is that Alex Wolff's mom is in critical condition. She's in some kind of care, some sort of terminal illness. I don't think it's stated in the movie what it is. You don't even see her because the scene where he goes to visit her, Alex Wolff's character can't even go into the room. He quietly says to her, but he can't even say it to her. He says, "I wish Dad would just let you go. You know, I wish Dad would let you die." Because he can't handle this. And he lives his whole life like that. He lives through this, everything through a lens. He drives around listening to classical music, but not classical music. He's listening to a guy explain classical music.
Classical composers are those of the first rank, who have developed music to the highest pitch of perfection on its formal side.
He won't even engage with it directly. He won't engage with anything directly. He's got these walls. And you see why when you meet the dad, who has his own walls. He's got a fortress built. He hasn't felt a feeling in 20 years. He's that kind of character. He's cold, he's exacting, he's calculating, he's super rich, obviously super successful in whatever field. And without telling Alex what they're doing, I don't know his name in the movie, I'm just referring to him as Alex. Yeah. Without telling him what they're doing, he goes on this little quest. Nicolas Cage collects all these different ingredients from different places that he trusts. And what he's doing is he's preparing a meal for Alex Wolff's dad. And what the meal is a meal he and his wife had at Nicolas Cage's restaurant in the past. Nicolas Cage says he never forgets a meal. He knows who he is. He recognizes him. He knows that he made this meal for him and his wife. And it's this moment of that defense fracturing. The memory of him taking a bite of that and remembering, understanding what Nicolas Cage has done for him, understanding what this is and what it means to him, those memories and all of the grief he's been unwilling to interact with, all of the grief that he's been hoping will be kept at bay by throwing money at it, keeping this person and his important figure in his life as far away as possible. He doesn't want to, it's out of sight, out of mind for him. But all of a sudden it can't be. All of a sudden he's there again. Yeah. And he has to face this feeling, the reality that the love of his wife, her sickness, the guilt, the grief, and that meal. And it's like the movie's about food. The movie is about, it's not just about food. It's about authenticity. It's about living in a way that you can be proud of. You can, and there's this great moment in it in the restaurant. He's talking to one of his former employees, who is now his own head chef at a restaurant, and he's explaining the stuff they do, and Nicolas Cage is seeing right through it. It's nothing. It's bullshit. He's looking at me. He's like, is this what you want to do? When you think about what you want to do with your life, you want to do this? You want to make this for people like this who don't care about you or know you at all?
Okay. Derek, why do you care about these people? They don't care about you. None of them. They don't even know you. Because you haven't shown them. Every day you'll wake up and there'll be less of you. You live your life for them and they don't even see you. You don't even see yourself. We don't get a lot of things to really care about.
And like that's the thesis here, it's this, I don't know how distant you are from what your real loves are, what your real interests are, what makes life worth living for you, how performative that is. And how unperformative, and how he's not performing it. He doesn't fit in anywhere he goes. He's gotten beaten up. He leaves. He doesn't wash the cuts. He looks like a hobo, and he looks odd. He's going to these fancy restaurants and stuff. And he looks strange, but it's like what's strange is the airs you're putting on the other people. You know what I mean? They're the ones wearing an outfit. They're the ones wearing like this mask of presentability, I guess.
Food does have a very strong presence as memory. It's like it's smell and taste, that are
Yeah.
connected so strongly to memories. Like you can taste something that you haven't tasted since you were a kid and you were taken right back there. I feel like that's what all these food movies from my childhood are to me. It's like they take me straight back. Like even though I'm not actually tasting it,
Yeah.
I have such a sensory connection to my favorite things that like it is like I'm tasting it and I'm right back there. Like seeing like rewatching these scenes
Yeah.
just put a huge smile on my face because it just took me like I was a kid again.
Interestingly, I did rewatch all these scenes. I didn't rewatch the pig scene. It's
funny, I didn't rewatch Phantom Thread scene. In fact, I wasn't even going to talk about Phantom Thread, and then I started talking about it and I was like, wait, food is like really important in that movie, and then it all came together. But it wasn't one of my primaries, it was one of my secondaries.
Yeah, I didn't rewatch Pig because, and that the reason was because it's just with me. There's some scenes that's gonna be with me for a long time. I think it's just a really special thing.
Did you have any runners up that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I didn't mean to end on a heavy note. I guess I should have started with Pig, maybe. I don't know.
No, I considered talking about The Last Meal in Signs. You remember that? The alien invasion is impending. It's like it's any minute now, and they're boarding up the house. And like they're frantically boarding up the house, and he takes a moment and he's like, let's eat dinner. Let's eat.
Okay.
And he says to every single one, what do you want for dinner? And they all say something completely random, like spaghetti and waffles and mashed potatoes and stuff. And then it cuts to a kitchen and that dishes are everywhere. They've made every single one of the foods. And now they're sitting at the table, and everyone has their last meal, and no one will touch it.
Oh.
Freaking alarm thing goes on. The voice on the baby monitor goes off, and it's time.
Yeah.
It's an intense scene, but
my runner-up was Christmas Story, and I couldn't decide between the two. There's the one where it's one big scene, but they cook Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
And the damn Bumpus's dogs come crashing in and ruin everything. So there, in a way, that is a meal scene. The Bumpus's dogs get to eat it, but that is a prepared meal that gets eaten on screen. But then they go to the Chinese restaurant and the mom's performance in that is great. I heard somewhere that she wasn't told that was gonna happen.
It does have the air of a real
It does feel
startle.
that way. Yeah.
And then they just laugh.
They're cracking. She's hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the perfect word for how she's acting. She is hysterical in that scene. It's awesome. The parents are great in that movie. Both of them. Yeah, that was my runner up. I thought of a few others. I mean, there was a few that I had thought of, but it was just like Pan's Labyrinth. But again, it's like that's a meal that does not get eaten. That's the rule.
I thought about the lunch scene in Decision to Leave, where they get takeout sushi in the precinct, and they just very politely eat their very high-end sushi. But that one just I'm not as attached to it.
Sure,
it's a good scene. I'm just not super attached.
There's plenty of great scenes. Yeah, mm-hmm. That's the thing. There's a bunch of really good. I wonder if there's something that we're just like everyone is like, how did they not think of?
I know. I keep the whole time you were talking, I'm trying to I mean, there are lots of movies that feature food that in some in incredible way. I've always really liked the movie Chocolat with Juliette Binoche. about a woman who comes, it's in like the 20s, set in the 20s or something, and this woman comes to this French town and creates a chocolaterie, and it's just a chocolate store, and she has a chocolate for everyone's ailments. There's like a chocolate for everyone for whatever you need.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great like making of chocolates scenes and stuff. I used to love that movie. But yeah, I have this feeling with this topic that there are so many that I'm not thinking of. Like I scanned through so many of my lists on Letterboxd trying to like jog my memory of any others, but like
Let us know in the comments, I guess. What
Yeah.
do we forget?
what's your favorite meal?
Please refrain from blasting spoilers into the comments, but yeah, let us know. Let us know what your favorite meals and movies are. That would be a good thing to.
Yeah.
Not necessarily favorite, like I said. It's like some of them just be
Impactful.
memorable meals.
Did you have a nice nap? Did you sleep good?
Okay, and we like and subscribe. I remembered to say it.
Like and subscribe.
And have a great day.
Have a great day. Have a good night. Have a good life.
I was thinking we're making a YouTube video, which is like we're basically making content for someone to eat during. Like that's like a thing. People watch sitting.
That's
like,
a you thing.
Not just me. Not just me. People sit down and watch YouTube videos while they eat. That's a thing.
You definitely do that.
I do that, yes, but a lot of people do.